We still step dying slowly. My love's not soft like sin. Okay, Unheard Gems. Today I am joined with one of my favorite artists who goes by Reece. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm really well. So, I've got a bunch of questions for you that I think our listeners would really like to know, and that I definitely think about when I listen to your music and see you as an artist. So, sort of just to kick things off, when did you first know that you wanted to pursue music, and when did you really start working on your music?
I first knew that I wanted to pursue music when I was around 16, and I made a mixtape, and this was like years ago. And then I kind of took a hiatus between 16 and 18. And when I turned 18, I started taking music a lot more seriously, and I think that's when I truly knew that this is what I wanted to do with my life. So.
Awesome. And so then, why did you gravitate towards music, and then also to like specific genres or sounds? And then with that, how did you start to label your style of music and figure out what genre you wanted to go into?
I think I gravitated towards music because growing up I've always sung and I've always loved music a lot. And I remember just wanting to be able to make something that made somebody feel like some sort of emotion, make them feel sad or make them feel like nostalgic about something. And so I think that was my, you know, goal with making music. And um, I would consider my genre probably alternative like R&B. I think that's what I classified it as. But I take a lot from a different, like a plethora of like artists, like really pop stuff, but also really R&B stuff. And I think like growing up, I listened to like Enya and like Imogen Heap, but I also like listened to the radio. So I think just for to make it easy, I would say alternative R&B, but I try to like take from everything I grew up listening to.
So when you are writing songs, what's your musical process like? Where do you get ideas? What is your writing style? How do you come up with ideas for like the music, the vocals, everything?
I think when it comes to making music, I try to just be as honest as I can because sometimes in real life, I think it's harder for me to articulate how I feel. So I try to take from experiences that I'm going through and just, write them in a song. And when I start a song, I usually start with like a melody. And if I get like a really good beat, I'll sing over a melody and then I'll write the lyrics to it. And I try to just, not think too heavily about what I'm going to write about and just kind of like have it be a stream of consciousness. And usually it's either like, it's usually sad, but I mean, I think that's my writing process. I try to make it as simple and organic as possible.
So what are your main sources of inspiration? So what is that sort of like? Do you keep a journal or do you just sort of like write in the moment as you get things?
I think I just write in the moment as life happens, and I try to make my music my journal. So whenever life just happens, or if I'm going through something that isn't the best, or if I'm going through something that's great, I kind of just want to make a song to kind of chronicle what I'm going through at that time. So when I look back and listen to that song, I can remember exactly what I was going through.
So where would you like to see your music go? Is there a direction or story that you want to pursue or go further into for like a longer project, or just stick with singles like you have so far?
I definitely want to have a big like an album that I've been having this idea for the past few years, and the story that I'd really like to talk about is kind of like the human experience in a way, and just like the different facets of emotions that we have as people. Like dive into being really sad or being really happy and being really angry or being stuff that's like bittersweet. I want to have like an album that kind of portrays my view of humans and just like what it is to be a human. And I think that sonically I would like to have an album that's really organic and really like live instruments and just something that can withstand time. That way we can listen to the album in like 10 years and it still sounds fresh. It doesn't sound dated.
No, for sure. I think that's actually a really incredible and different idea that I feel like isn't really done too much in music so far. I think that's amazing.
Thank you.
So, have you had a favorite song or part of this ongoing project that you've worked on? It could be released or unreleased, just any sort of favorite moments for you.
I think one of my favorite songs to write was probably Don't Go. I think when I wrote Don't Go, it was um, at a time where I felt stuck in my life, and I just felt like I didn't have any direction. And I think Don't Go kind of weirdly saved me because it made me excited to write again and excited to make music again. And at that point, I wasn't feeling very excited. So I think Don't Go is definitely just probably will always be one of my favorite songs to write.
So, sort of on that track, do you think that your upcoming music will sort of mirror the sounds of what you've previously done, like songs like Don't Go, or do you think you're going to continue to explore different sorts of sounds on that project?
I think on the EP that I'm working on, there's different sounds. I think, you know, I'm 21 now, and when I started this EP, I was around like 19. And I think that those years I've grown so much. So I think that you can hear that in the music. I like to explore with my music as well. I don't want to get too crazy with my music, but I do like to, try different things. And I think that that will be definitely heard on my EP. Just the growth and just different sounds that I try to explore.
So, on sort of like a different track now, you've made the choice to not really show what you look like physically when it comes to your music. Like, you don't really
Mm-hmm.
post too many images of yourself on social media or use your own image to like put the cover art for your songs. You're always
Yeah.
like blurred or obscured. So, why
Mm-hmm.
did you make that creative choice?
I think for me, I really just wanted the focus to be on my music, and I felt like that was the most important thing. Sometimes I try to differentiate, even though I'm Reece. My name's Reece. I'm Reece. I feel like Reece that is from like Virginia and like Reece that's the artist are kind of two different people, and I think that my music is kind of a representation of my brain in a weird way, and so I think that I feel like my face to it kind of just takes away from what I'm trying to portray and just trying to, I think, I don't know, convey, which is that my music is you're like inside my head. That's my mind. That's my thoughts. Like that's who I really am, and I think that is what is the most important thing. You know,
Yeah, for sure. So, do you have any advice for anyone trying to enter the music industry or work on their own music?
I think the best advice I can give is just to remain humble and be nice to other people and be a good team player because at the end of the day, it's so important to build connections and build good relationships with people. And I think that you should never get too big of a head. And also, I think this industry is hard, and I think it has its good moments, but it also has its not so good moments. So you have to be prepared for people maybe to not believe in you like you believe in yourself, and that's okay. Like not everyone has to believe in you. As long as you believe in yourself, you'll be fine. And you're going to hear a lot of yeses, and you're going to hear no's. And I think that to just be prepared for that, but it's really like rewarding at the end of the day if you really push through and you make music that you love. So I think it's just important to be nice and to just, be prepared for anything. I think that's the best advice I can give.
So, in the spirit of being nice and supportive in the music industry, could you recommend to everyone listening to Unheard Gems one or two growing artists or musicians that you think we need to listen to?
I think one of my favorite artists right now, she doesn't have a lot of music out, but Kaylee Morg, like she's growing and she's getting bigger. I feel like her voice is so dope. And I love her music. I think she's going to be huge. So I think that is one person that I would really recommend.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. I really am looking forward to all the new music that you will soon put out. And yeah, we'll keep in touch and can't wait to hear more from you.
If I lose you,